cancer. I came across the website for the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. As soon as we got there, my level of fear subsided.
What's unique about Cancer Treatment Centers of America is our team of specialists in lung cancer treatment. Included in her comprehensive treatment approach was the ancillary services that we provide: naturopathy, mind-body medicine, and nutrition.
I have to do what it takes to keep me breathing.
If you or someone you love has complex or advanced stage lung cancer, go to cancercenter.com/lung. You'll see how our lung cancer treatment results compare to national averages. You'll also learn why over 95% of our patients are satisfied. Visit cancercenter.com and find out if yours is one of the hundreds of insurance plans with which we've worked. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits. Appointments available now.
Some people like to pretend a flood could never happen to them, and that their homeowner's insurance protects them. It doesn't. Stop pretending. Only flood insurance covers floods. Visit floodsmart.gov/pretend to learn your risk.
Time now to check in with Jenna Lee, who's in for Gretchen today, to see what's coming up on The Real Story. Hey, Jenna.
Hi, guys. Great to see you, and we have a great show coming up for you as well. A first look at the body armor that'll have our troops looking a little something like Iron Man. We'll explain that. Also, how California's record drought hurts you wherever you live in the country. And one woman is telling college co-eds to smarten up and start husband hunting now. Is she right? Our panel weighs in on that. Husband hunting at the top of the hour.
Perfect for Valentine's.
Exactly. See how that works out?
Thank you, Jenna.
Synergy.
Sure do.
Nicely done.
See you in a couple minutes. Bye-bye. 12 men from around the country taking action, suing the state of Utah over a law that allows mothers to secretly give their babies up for adoption without the father's consent. The suit claims that agencies even coach the women to do this, and here's an exchange from an undercover phone call on that. Watch.
What happens if I come here and then I come back and I'm not pregnant anymore? Like, what's kind of...
He'll be mad, and he'll want answers.
Do I have to tell him I gave the baby up for adoption, or can they just say, hey, you know, we had a really bad accident and...
You don't have to tell him anything.
Alicia Cunha's on the story. She's live in Denver today. Alicia?
Hi, Bill. Yes, these men are from 8 different states, and since this lawsuit was filed just last month, 15 more men have come forward to say that their biological children were given up for adoption either without their consent or without their knowledge. Now, one of the agencies, Adoption Center of Choice, featured in some of the undercover phone calls like the one you just heard, is now in danger of losing its license. Fox News learned ACC is currently not allowed to take on any new clients. Now, the man you see in this photo is Will Bolden, and that is his daughter. However, Will says his son from a previous relationship was given to LDS Family Services, another agency, by his then girlfriend, not the woman in the photo, without his permission. Will says LDS Family Services, run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, called him out of legal obligation because he had registered as the father. He says they tried to coerce him.
But I think the views are antiquated. There's plenty of great fathers out there. I'm living proof of it.
Now, Will's attorney, Wes Hutchins, says he is very pro-adoption, but says the law in Utah is being abused.
They coach birth mothers to say, if you just claim that the father abuses you, or that this was a rape, or that he's essentially a bad guy, tell us all those things, then we don't need to give him notice.
The lawsuit claims a statute in the law known as fraud immunity is what is allowing folks to get away with this. Even if it is proven or admitted that a birth mother lied in the process, it is incredibly difficult for a judge to overturn the adoption. They can only allow for monetary damages to be paid. This even after the birth fathers spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to fight for their kids, something the agencies know. Here's more from the undercover phone calls.
Let me ask you, is he rich? Does he have any money? And the reason why I say that is if he wanted to fight it, he would have to get an attorney here in Utah.
Now, there is another side to this. The adoptive families who sometimes end up tied up in lawsuits for years because they have these children who they've adopted. Sometimes these fathers will fight and fight, understandably, but then sometimes the children end up having to go back to these adopted fathers who are essentially strangers to them. So it's really an impossible situation.
Lisa Cunha, thank you. Lisa Cunha is on that story in Denver, and Allison has more on this.
We do need to talk more about this. Let's debate it. Let's bring in Brian Claypool and David Wohl, both defense attorneys. Brian, let me start with you. These are 12 biological fathers who are suing Utah because their babies were put up for adoption without their knowledge or consent. How can that be legal?
Well, Allison, let's be clear. I've looked at the law. It applies to fathers who are unmarried. It doesn't apply to married fathers. So what the state of Utah is doing is they're essentially saying, we want to weigh what's in the best interest of the child in terms of safety, financial security, and moral integrity of the home versus a father who's not married to the mother of the child.
But hold on, how could there be any moral integrity when the father isn't even told that the baby's being put up for adoption?
Because there's civil rights that also go to a child. Who is looking out for an unborn child? I mean, how many phone calls do I get as a child advocate from parents, from mothers saying, oh my God, I've got a deadbeat dad. We didn't get married. I can't find the father anywhere. There is an epidemic, Allison.
Yes, there is an epidemic. Hold on, Brian. There is an epidemic, but these are 300 dads. By the way, these dozen represent 300 others. They desperately want to be involved in their children's lives. David, I want to bring you in. Basically, Utah is saying that dads are so inconsequential, we don't even need to tell them that their biological babies are being put up for adoption.
This is nothing less than state-sponsored kidnapping and child abuse. It's medieval, it's unconscionable, and to deprive a child of the right to be raised by the man who brought the child into the world, and to deprive the father not just of consent to the adoption, but mere notice of the adoption. Allison, it's not just a violation of civil rights, as is alleged in this lawsuit. It borders on criminal.
Brian?
It's a violation of equal protection of the Constitution, and if it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, it'll be thrown out like that.
Brian, how do you respond?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've looked at the law, and that the intent of the law is not to violate the civil rights of fathers. The intent of the law is to motivate men across the country to not go to Utah, not have unprotected sex with a woman that you're not married to.
Brian.
And you know something, Allison, when I was reading through this law, I don't know if you're a musical fan at all, but it reminded me of that song by Pat Monahan from Train, the song Drive By. The purpose of that song, Drive By, is just what we're talking about here. You don't want to do hit and run with a woman and then fathers disappear. And another thing is, what about...
But hold on, Brian. Some of these moms are being dishonest and moving to Utah so they can put the babies up for adoption. One of the fathers was in the military. While he was serving, the mother moved to Utah and told him the baby died.
Allison, this is criminal deception.
Well,
Allison, based on this logic, based on Brian's logic, if a father and mother are married and then split up when the child is a year old, can the mother then take the child and get it adopted because they're no longer married? Is that, according to the rationale of Utah's statute, acceptable? Of course it isn't acceptable. This is criminal
Brian,
in
10
nature.
seconds. Brian, 10 seconds.
Parenting is not a recreational activity. And unfortunately, in this country, we have an epidemic.
Brian, a constitutional right.
Yeah. Guys, we'll have you back to debate this further. Utah is going to have to figure out a solution to this. Brian Claypool, David Wohl, thanks so much for the debate.
Thanks, Alex.
Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Thank you, gentlemen, to you as well. 1 year ago today, international track star Oscar Pistorius, accused of killing his girlfriend. His trial is about to start. He says that death was an accident.
And a very special homecoming for a brave American wounded on the battlefield who gave him the thank you gift of a lifetime. Next.
When it feels like people care, that's what it really feels like.
Safe like repair, safe like replace.
If your car's side glass gets broken, who's always there for you?